Hello, and welcome to When Grooms Get Engaged, the podcast about a guy's perspective to wedding planning from two guys that are currently trying to survive their own. I'm Steve.
And I'm Chris. And each week we will talk about how we navigated a different part of the wedding planning journey, what we learned in the process, and what maybe we wish we had done differently. So, Steve, what are we talking about this week?
Chris, this week we are talking about everything but the wedding. If you thought
Thank
planning
God.
a wedding, I know, there's just wedding stressful. Let's maybe have some fun. So if you thought that planning a wedding was just one thing, let me dispel you of that notion, because Chris, as I'm sure you know, as I saw from your fiance's incredibly detailed email this weekend, there are a lot of events and a lot of people to kind of wrangle together. So we're just going to give a brief overview of like all the events you should be considering. And if you're not, maybe you should start adding them onto your list.
Yeah, there is a lot surrounding the wedding that you better be prepared for. It is not just one event. It is a multiple day event. It is multiple events across a whole weekend. It could be crazy. Also, I think some Indian weddings are like full 7 days or a week or something like that. It can be crazy.
My coworker recently got married, and he was telling me about his festivities. He's Indian, and he literally had a week.
Yep.
Like, he would have whole huge family events with one side of the family. Then the next day, huge family events with the other side of the family. And then you have like combined events that aren't the wedding. And then it's just so much to do and so much to think about. It's crazy.
Wow. And that certainly explodes that budget we were all talking about before. So,
man, at some point, it's just kind of like, what budget? It's fake. It's not real. Who cares? Have fun.
All right. What's one of the first events that someone should be thinking about or maybe planning for?
Yeah. So I kind of grouped these up into pre-wedding events and then like wedding week events. So even before you have your actual wedding, you have an engagement party. This is usually a little bit after, obviously, your engagement. And it's kind of more low-key, kind of laid back. It's usually thrown by like, family or friends just to congratulate the couple on engagement.
Did you end up doing this?
So this is a little point of contention. We got engaged literally a day or two before we went to Greece last year. And then, had nothing. And then we came back and my mom was like, literally the day we come back or the next day, she was like, hey, all of your family happened to be in town for something. I forgot the reason. And she's like, oh, you should come over too. And I'm like, Mom, we don't want an engagement party. And I was like, no, this is not an engagement party. I'm like, okay, Mom, sure. So we're exhausted. We have no clothes because all our stuff is dirty in a suitcase somewhere. And we're like, okay, let's just make this quick. We go there. And Chris, let me wink, and nod you that it was not an engagement party.
Sure.
I was like, Mom, it was kind of annoying, honestly, because like we weren't mentally ready for it. We were like tired. Our clothes were dirty. We had like one clean outfit left. It's like, okay. But I mean, I guess we kind of did have an engagement party. The cake was a congratulations cake that had congrats grad on it. I'm like, Mom, you couldn't even get the right cake. Like, it was so dumb.
It was probably on sale. It's great.
I mean, I hope so. Otherwise, why pay full price for the wrong cake?
You're just graduating to the next stage of life.
Yeah, this is true. Graduating to the next title. How about you, Chris? Did you guys have an engagement party?
Yeah, we didn't. So we got engaged in Taiwan. So it was nice, though, because we did have like the family from her side. We did a dinner, right, with everybody afterwards. So it wasn't a formal engagement party or dinner. It was more so a get to know me dinner, but it just happened to coincide, with us getting engaged. So it was kind of like an all-in-one, which ended up being really nice and really fun. But no specific plans for like an engagement party. I think some of our listeners, the guys out there, this could potentially also be folded into your engagement idea. Right? You can invite family and friends to maybe meet you up after you pop the question at some point. So like if you go out on an excursion or if you have a special event and do it like near where everyone lives and or where you live, you can invite them to a restaurant or something that kind of like surprise your significant other after you pop the question. It's kind of a nice touch. So you can kind of fold it in that way, like same day as you pop the question, or it could be something that happens like a few days after.
Yeah, and this isn't a very formal event, right? It can be pretty chill, pretty laid back. And Chris, I actually have a story about that from this weekend. We went to a friend's. So this is hilarious. So we have a mutual friend, and the guy that she's dating texted me, and he's like, "Hey, I want to throw her graduation party on this weekend. Can you guys make sure you're there? You're very important to her." And I'm like, "Graduation party? When did she graduate?" So his excuse was that she graduated during COVID, so she was never able to have the graduation party she deserved. And I'm like, okay, like we knew what was happening, but he didn't want to ruin the surprise for her. So he invited a bunch of friends and family over that are important to her. Before we got there, he had already proposed. So by the time we got there, it pretty much became an engagement party. So yeah, these are fun to just keep it with like friends and family, keep it low key, keep it, light and fresh and like fun. It doesn't have to be very like formal, very stuffy.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of important too, because it's potentially a very, well, as the guy, potentially stressful day, stressful week, stressful month. You've been thinking about this nonstop and probably all day, making sure everything goes without a hitch. And then obviously emotional once you pop the question for both of you, right? So you've probably gone through the gamut. You are emotionally spent. You probably just want to just kind of chill and just not really think about much and just enjoy being with each other and with family and friends. So yeah, I think the key is to keep it lighthearted. Don't overplan it and just kind of go with the flow and have a nice time.
Yeah. And I just kind of want to, before we go through the rest of them, just mention that you don't have to do all of these things. Right. You can just do what you're comfortable with, do what you want. None of these are set in stone.
Yeah, it could be as simple as just going to one side of the family's house and just hanging out and just kind of celebrating, or both sides. It can be as elaborate or as simple as you want it. You don't have to overthink this, but this is generally kind of a more, as you said, lighthearted, kind of chill celebration of both of you.
Yeah. So after the engagement party, you have the bridal shower. Now, Chris, when I was actually doing research on the history of the bridal shower, it's literally an excuse just to give the couple gifts.
Yep.
Apparently, it's like back in the medieval ages, they would throw brides like parties in town when the dad was either like too poor or too embarrassed to give a dowry. So like she would have no money, so they just threw her a party and like gave her gifts so that she can, I guess, support her youth life or something. I don't know, but yeah, it's literally just giving gifts. But that's pretty much what it comes down to.
I don't think the ladies are complaining.
No, not at all. Chris, I know you guys had a bridal shower.
Yeah. So my family threw my fiance a bridal shower, and I think that's also kind of traditionally how it's done. I think it's usually the groom's side women in his life or whatever will throw his fiance a bridal shower to kind of like welcome her into the family and shower her with gifts, and obviously her friends are always there, and also probably her family. So that's kind of what we did. Rented out a restaurant and just decorated, had little games, and it was a fun day. And I will say, though, I think the more it was interesting how much changed in maybe 15, 20 years, because my brother is significantly older, right? I'm the baby of the family by quite a significant margin. And when his wife had her bridal shower, it was like no guys allowed whatsoever. But like now, I feel like the more commonplace or modern version of the bridal shower is to at least have the groom to be is there as well.
Yeah, and I'm noticing also that there's a little bit of a rebranding from the bridal shower to the wedding shower.
Wedding shower.
Yeah. And I am just going to go on the record and say I don't like this. Like, I think it's fun that people have like their own events. Like, not everyone has to have the same cookie cutter event for everything. Like, when you're in a room when like girls are like celebrating girls, it's different. Or like when guys are celebrating guys, it's different versus like a mingling, you know? But a lot of people are doing like wedding showers now. Like you said, you have guys and girls, the bride and groom. You may have both wedding parties there. And then at that point, it just feels like another wedding, honestly.
Yeah, you can also like split it up a little bit where like maybe the guy doesn't come right away and like comes in towards the end, and you can do like some together games and like open up gifts together, or you can just keep it completely separate. Whatever you think is best for you, whatever your vibe is, whatever you're gonna have the most fun with. But I will say the modern trend these days is to have the guy there as well.
Chris, who knew each other better, you or your fiance? You guys played this game, right?
I won.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, Chris, that's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Did you do a bridal shower?
No, we did not. My fiance didn't want one. Okay. Our thought process is, again, we're making people travel to Greece. Like, we're not gonna like keep having other events that we know people will like want to get us a gift for. Like, we'd rather they just put whatever into getting to Greece. And honestly, it's one less thing to plan.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And nice consideration from you both, right? Knowing people are sacrificing and spending a lot of money to travel. So, yeah, I think that's something that our listeners can consider as well. If they're having like a destination wedding, especially if it's like further away, like in Europe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just for example,
it's not just a quick jaunt down to Mexico or something.
No, definitely not. But speaking of Mexico, another party you might consider having before the wedding would be the bachelor party. And now, Chris, I don't know if we want to talk about this too much because it will be its own episode.
Yeah, we'll keep it secret, keep it safe.
Which is, good advice for life.
Yeah, we'll talk about more on planning that and what to expect in a future episode.
Yeah, but going on to the actual wedding weekend, Chris, what's probably one of the first things that you're going to be planning or kind of event you're going to be hosting?
Yeah, one of the classics almost always happens is the rehearsal dinner. So you'll generally have a final walkthrough of the event or the venue space the day before the wedding, just to make sure everything's like kind of set up and pre-planned the way you want. Just kind of do a quick walkthrough to know what to expect with everyone in the wedding party. And then typically the wedding couple or one side of the family or the other will host a rehearsal dinner just as kind of like a pre-wedding thank you for everybody, just to get together and kind of meet and hang out before the actual wedding day.
Yeah, and depending on how in-depth your actual wedding is, like if you have a lot of people involved in the actual marriage itself doing a lot of parts, a rehearsal dinner is a rehearsal rather just becomes a much better idea, so everyone is kind of in line with what they have to do. Because like there's nothing worse than being married and you have half the people have no idea where they're supposed to be. Like, can you imagine you have 100 people looking and you just have like people running around with like chickens with their heads cut off? So this is good to have. And you usually, let's say your wedding is on like a Saturday, you'll do this on a Thursday generally. And it's a smaller group. Chris, I know you guys are having this. And like I mentioned before, your fiance sent out a itinerary and it is very detailed.
Yeah, I mean, also part of the reasoning for being so detailed, not only is she a type A detailed person, but her family is, not Western, right? Or not originally from America. So like some of these traditions or the traditional, let's say American or Western wedding is, a little foreign or a little different than what they're used to. So like having all of these details kind of spelled out ahead of time just kind of alleviates any confusion, and also just make sure everyone's on the same page ahead of time. So if you're dealing with something similar, or you're in like an interracial marriage, I think this is a good idea to kind of like plan that out and send that out to everybody so everyone knows what to expect.
And at the end of the day, more detail is better than less detail, honestly. If everyone's on the same page,
you're going to save fights, arguments, text questions, send it out, a little bit ahead of time. And yeah, you're going to save yourself a lot of headache, closer to.
Chris, I know I told you this already, but I think our fans need to hear it as well. Chris is having like water guns at his wedding. And I have never been at a wedding with water guns, but I can already tell you I'm going to love it. So consider
Water guns is maybe a little strong, but there are going to be bubble bazookas for sure.
okay, whatever. Bubble bazookas, water guns. The point is, guys, I think this is a good idea. Haven't used it yet, but I can safely say it will be great.
Since you're in the party, yeah, you'll get first crack.
Perfect. What do I want me to hit first? That's the question. Chris, this next one, I haven't really heard of it before. But that would be the Bridal Luncheon. And apparently it's like a Southern tradition that's kind of moving its way up north, right?
Interesting.
Like that seems to be what's going on. Just like everything in the South is becoming cool up north lately.
I do declare.
Yeah, exactly. So when looking this up, it's apparently just the bride and her bridal party and like, you know, the moms, maybe
so it's just the bridal shower part 2.
It's okay. Here's what I think it is. Remember how before we talked about the bridal shower, how it's become a wedding shower, where it's become mingled? The women are like, this is bullshit. We want our own event. So then they created the luncheon, the bridal luncheon, which is literally all the people in the bridal shower, like maybe like a smaller group, just enjoying tea service, you know, getting together, the bride thanking them for like everything they've done.
What do the guys do? Let's go play golf?
Yeah, probably. Although, give it 10 years, it'll be the wedding luncheon. I'm
exactly.
Sure.
Yeah. No kidding.
Chris, what other kind of parties or events might you have?
So if you're having like a destination wedding or like maybe one side of the family is traveling or you have a lot of people traveling for your wedding, you know, it might be nice to have like a welcome party. You know, we are doing something, we're doing welcome drinks. So we're going to be renting out a bar space and, you know, paying for everyone's drinks, you know, the day before the wedding, just kind of get everyone together, you know, make a lot of introductions between family members, you know, different sides of the family, and just kind of have a good time, relaxed time for the actual wedding day. I think one thing on our minds though is that we're not going to party too hard because we have a lot to do on the actual wedding day. It's going to be, you know, a whirlwind, but just a nice way to welcome everybody who might be traveling and, you know, in and out of town folks, just to like, you know, have kind of a pre-wedding celebration.
Chris, that's actually a very good point. If you and your guests, you know, go hard, maybe have this like 2 days before the wedding instead of immediately the day before. So, you know, you don't
want anybody
like,
hungover.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this is usually people that are traveling out of town. I know some people may have a smaller welcome party with just immediate family that have, again, come from out of town and just kind of hosting them. But this is nice to have. It doesn't have to be super formal. Of course, like you said, you're doing drinks. Like, that's perfect, you know?
Yeah, like an hour or two just to kind of say hi, you know, before the big event. Because also, you know, you might not be able to visit with all of your family and friends like as much as you want to, especially, you know, again, if people are traveling in. You know, there's only so many hours, so many minutes of the actual wedding to visit with everybody. There's a lot of things to do on the wedding day, taking pictures and you know, just being pulled in a million different directions. And so, you know, it's just a nice way of being able to visit with everybody ahead of the wedding.
Yeah, and we're doing something similar. We're doing like we asked them specifically for drinks and like past apps. You know, we're not trying to get people like stuffed, but we are trying to get them very well lubricated, which I think is the most important thing. One other party, Chris, that I saw, I don't know if you guys are planning any of this, is the after party, which literally just sounds like your venue is closing down at 11:30 and you want to keep partying. So just find a bar somewhere.
Yeah, I think this is pretty common. Some of our venues were located near like after hour spaces. So just in Chicago, City Hall, which is not like the City Hall that you would normally think, but it's an event space called City Hall. And West Loop in Chicago is also near Recess.
And
so,
Recess
like,
is huge.
Yeah, and so the spaces are kind of semi-connected, so it's kind of cool because like you can have your wedding, have your reception, and then like right after there's like these big 2 bay doors that can open up to the Recess outdoor like fun activity space. You can just like walk right in, have your private table. There's like a little arcade. There's a little like, you know, lawn games or whatever. So if you want kind of like a more relaxed like after party after dark, it's kind of a cool like combo venue. I keep going back and forth on our after party.
Oh, so you are actually thinking about something.
We are so this is what we're thinking, and I think you'll appreciate it. But
Oh man, is this the inside scoop?
Where have we spent a lot of?
It better be karaoke, Chris.
Yes. So where have we spent a lot of late nights doing dumb stuff? We're thinking, private room, back room karaoke, in like, not the classiest of karaoke joints, but one of our favorites, and just showing up dressed, in tuxedos, and Catherine in her wedding dress, and just singing like backroom karaoke, into the night.
That would be amazing. I'm down. I'm in. RSVP, yes. With pleasure.
Are you thinking about anything? Well, I'm sorry. Like, yeah. How does a Greek wedding handle its business, Deo?
Well, Chris, actually, I'm glad you asked. So I think after parties are big here because a lot of events close at like 11, maybe 12 o'clock at the latest. In Greece, a lot of these things will go later. Lately, in Corfu, in this village specifically, they've started putting an ordinance where like they don't want loud music past 2 a.m. And I'm like, because like
even
we've been
that, yeah, like right. For an American, that sounds amazing.
I know. For a Greek, it's like really like come on, because we've been to a wedding in Greece, like that goes until like 4 or 5 a.m. And I've been to a couple weddings in Albania as well, which is the same thing. You start late, right? But you also end when the sun comes out the next morning. So we have essentially until like 2 o'clock, right? 2 a.m. So the wedding is like 1 with the after party, which is kind of nice. People don't have to move around for it too much.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Can't wait.
I just again, we need late night snacks, baby.
Chris, there is souvlaki. There is going to be French fries. I think that's all we have. But that's all you need. Like, let's be honest.
That's all you need.
That's all, who needs more than souvlaki? In the middle of the night, it'll save your life, guaranteed. Time tested. But yeah, after the after party, if anyone is still alive, awake at any time, Chris, you will have one more event potentially. That's the after wedding brunch or farewell brunch. And I know we're doing one. We're doing a pool party the next day. Chris, are you guys having anything?
So we are doing something a little bit different. We plan on trying to sleep as late as possible and just have our own time. So we're not trying to do like a formal brunch, but I'm sure family members will get together on their own and can organize that themselves. But we wanted to, again, acknowledge specifically my fiance side of the family who is traveling, making that sacrifice, traveling to Chicago. So we're going to host a special event just for them. And we're going to do like an evening dinner and then potentially like a river boat cruise on the Chicago River and like watch the fireworks because they happen on Saturdays in Chicago.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. So just have like a nice dinner and fireworks cruise for that side of the family. Just this is like an added thank you of, coming and traveling.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to say for the after party, for the after wedding brunch, this needs to be as chill, as easy, as in and out as possible. You will have plenty of guests that are wasted, still probably. A lot that are at least hungover, people that are tired, people that are trying to catch a flight. So like I've seen recommendations as simple as like, let's say a lot of people are staying at the same hotel. You just have a breakfast buffet set up. People can come in, grab a sandwich, say hi to you, hang out for 20 minutes before they're on their way. Just kind of, it doesn't have to be anything spectacular or crazy, just maybe putting the time. People do appreciate that.
Yeah. And I think the brunch is a nice thing because again, people might have, again, if anyone's even traveling, there might be flights out, relatively early the next day. So having that brunch, potentially people, if they're leaving, maybe early afternoon, they're able to join you for that brunch and kind of say goodbye.
Yeah, which people do appreciate. But yeah, Chris, after that, I think you're done. I think you've just successfully hosted a spectacular wedding.
I mean, what a way to close it out, right?
Just giving people a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich on the way out the door.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing.
I know, it sounds so good. But yeah, Chris, are there any other kind of events that you can think of? Because I know you guys are doing a couple of cultural events that aren't traditionally part of the American wedding.
Yeah, those would be incorporated into the wedding day and the wedding like ceremony and reception, but not so much like on either side, so that'll be part of the big day.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing immediately comes to mind. I think we covered a lot. And again, just have fun with it. And you might even have probably more fun on those events on like either side of the wedding, just because you're not pulled in 1,000 directions. You can actually like focus and be present with everybody, whereas, your wedding day, everyone's going to be vying for your attention. It's going to go quick.
Like, I'm looking forward to my wedding. Don't get me wrong, but I am really looking forward to our welcome party, which I think is going to be so much fun, so chill. And I'm actually also looking forward to our pool party. We're having like this local. Oh my God, Chris, we're having this local like shop cater, and I saw the menu for what they bring. They bring pizzas, they bring burgers, they bring gyro, they bring souvlaki, they bring like a shit ton of tzatziki everywhere. Just like every fried garbage food that you need in your system after you've been drinking, a whole day straight at noon with a beautiful pool, and you just do nothing but eat and just like lounge. I can't wait. It sounds spectacular. My God, I'm looking forward to the after party so much.
I am really looking forward to it, and I cannot wait.
It's going to be so much fun. I actually do just want to make a quick point. With a lot of these events, just know that you will be chasing RSVPs for. The welcome party, like I know we essentially have the same people going to the wedding as the welcome party. So it's effectively chasing RSVPs twice for the same amount of people, making sure we have a count. For the after party, we have to make sure we have enough food. Right, order enough pizzas, even though it's more chill. For like the bridal shower, you will also have to send out RSVPs and get those back. So just know that all of these are like fun and nice to have. It will be another set of RSVPs. It will probably be another set of invites, and you need to give yourself time to make sure you corral everyone.
Yeah, and that was a nice thing about the Knot website where we did our RSVPs. You're able to add these, tertiary additional events to the RSVP and invite specific people, in case it's only supposed to be maybe one side of the family or the other, or just like maybe the wedding party only. You're able to kind of target those people, and they can RSVP specifically for those events that they're invited to, and it just makes like being able to plan these events just so much easier when you have just one tool to tackle all of it.
Yeah, it's so nice. It's chasing RSVPs for a wedding is bad enough as it is. Chasing them for like 4 other events around it just does not sound fun.
No, I don't want to track anybody down. And again, I mentioned it before in our other episode, but the ability to be able to email and text through the Knot website, like for anybody that hasn't responded, has been just super helpful, and I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah. So definitely, technology is there to make your life easier. Use it. I echo what Chris says on the Knot. It just makes everything so much easier and just less to keep track of. You don't have to wait for your RSVPs to come back in the mail. What if they get lost? It's all digital. It's all there. It's easy to just pull up. But
all right. Anything else that you want to touch on for the events pre and post the big event?
The big event. Oh, Chris, I think we have a pretty good list to have people think about, what they want to do, what they don't want to do. Obviously, if your culture dictates additional events, talk to your parents. They'll know. They'll give you some guidance on that. But these are the traditional events around what people think about a American wedding. So, pick and choose. You don't have to do all of them. You don't even have to do any of them, really. Just whatever you enjoy, whatever's comfortable for you, whatever you want to do for your guests.
All right. I think everyone should like and subscribe, comment on our podcast. If you're enjoying the content that we've been putting out for the last few weeks, it would be greatly appreciated.
Chris, this is episode 14. So we are over 3 months of content. That's crazy.
It's been a wild ride.
Man, it's been a wild ride. So yeah, guys, please like, subscribe, share. I don't know what else there is to do, but do it all.
Anything helps.
Anything helps. All right, Chris, thanks for hanging out.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
All right, bye.